Hey friends, out and about today, and what you're listening to is the sound of the Joby WAVO Pro shotgun microphone, which is a new microphone that Joby have sent me to test and review. So I thought, as this microphone is intended as an on-camera shotgun mic for professionals, creatives, content creators, etc., I thought get outside. It's pretty nippy out, but at least the sun is shining, and I thought instead of sitting in my studio in a controlled environment, we would put this test outside and see how this microphone copes with background noise and stuff like that, really. So Joby sent me this microphone for the sake of this review, and you may well know Joby for their very popular, infamous, you might say, Gorilla Pods, and they've now ventured into the world of pro audio equipment, and this is one of a range of new microphones that they've just come out with. Today we're heading down to the beach. We are going to test the microphone. I'm going to run through some of the features, and once I get back to the studio later, I'll give you some thoughts on it. The reason I decided to come down here is because I thought it'd be quite a good test for this microphone. One of the key features of this microphone is that it's got something called A&R, active noise reduction, which, according to the marketing materials, is supposed to smooth out background noise and the bumps and rumbles that come with, you know, walking around. And at the moment I've got that feature turned on, so this is what it sounds like with the active noise cancellation, noise reduction, sorry, turned on. Don't know if you can hear any sort of rumble or anything like that at the moment. So when you buy the Joby WAVO Pro, it comes in a nice box, and in that box you're going to get the microphone itself, a TRS to TRS coiled jack lead to connect it to your camera. You're also going to get a USB type A to USB-C cable, nice length with that as well, which is for charging the microphone, and also allows you to connect it directly to your computer or laptop to use this as a USB microphone for podcasts, video calls, voiceover work, that kind of thing, which is really great. The mic itself has got a foam windshield which comes on the microphone, but also in the box you get a Rycott furry dead cat or wind jammer, which I'm using right now. Actually, we've got about 12 mile-an-hour winds here on the beach, so I've decided to put the wind jammer on. Also, features for the microphone: it's a supercardioid pickup pattern, so fairly directional, perfect for vlogging and content creation, and exactly the way I'm using it here. And we've also got an external input, which is a really nice feature, which means we can hook up a second microphone. So it's got a jack input on the side of the mic, which allows you to plug in another microphone. Also, it's got plus 10 and plus 20 dB, both for the microphone channel and for the external microphone input, which is quite nice. Other features for the microphone include the active noise reduction, which I've already mentioned, and this can be turned on or off using the Bluetooth connected phone app, which you can download from the App Store, and that pairs with this microphone as well to unlock some other features, which is really nice. Joby talk about the way it's perfect for creators because it's got a tally light on the front, so I can look now at the microphone, see the green light on the front of the mic and know that it's powered on. And on the back of the microphone, it's also got like a level light system, so green light means that our levels are okay, and if it goes amber or red, then you know that you're peaking. Right now, the way I'm using the mic is I've got plus 20 dB turned on, and I'm plugged into the Sony A7Siii, and I've got the mic set to about level 9, is it 9? Let me check. Yeah, I'm set at level 9 on the camera with the plus 20 dB turned on the mic. So hopefully I'm minimizing any of the preamp sounds that I might get through the Sony camera because I'm boosting that signal directly from the microphone. But I'll let you be the judge of that. How does this audio sound, and how is the active noise reduction working? A couple of other features about this microphone It has got the ability to auto turn on and off with your camera, which is great. This isn't on by default, but you can enable it in the app once and then it remembers that setting. So when you turn your camera on, the mic powers up. When you turn your camera off or your camera goes to sleep, the mic automatically powers down, which is great, avoids a dead battery when you need it most. Talking about battery, this has got a built-in lithium-ion battery, which they say has 60 hours of continuous use. So I haven't used it for 60 hours continuously, so we'll see. They do say, however, that if you're using the active noise reduction feature, then your battery life is going to drop down to about 50 hours. So still a pretty awesome amount of usage. Quite a nice little feature included with the microphone is the ability to enable a safety track, which what that does is it splits the audio across the left and right channel, takes the left channel and automatically records at -10 dB from what you've set the volume to be. So this is really helpful if you're in an unpredictable audio environment where you don't know exactly what the loudest sound is going to be. It means that if you suddenly come up against really loud sound and your set volume starts to peak, then you're going to have this safety track. You can fall back to your left channel, which will be -10 dB quieter than your primary right hand channel. So it just gives you much more flexibility in post and means that, you know, if you forget to change the volume and you're recording a bit high, hopefully you can save much more footage and not be, you know, face palming when you come to edit footage because you haven't got non-clipping audio. So I think that's really nice feature. Lots of the similar competitors to this microphone have a similar functionality now, so it's really nice that Joby have included that in the WAVO Pro. So one of the most defining features for this microphone is probably the fact that it comes with an app for iPhone and Android, and that allows you to connect via Bluetooth to the microphone, and once you're connected you've got access to a suite of extra tools, one of which is that you've got live levels that you can see and adjust on the fly, which is pretty cool. The other one is that you can turn on and off the safety track and the active noise reduction feature. The active noise reduction you can actually only activate and deactivate through the Bluetooth app. The safety track, there is an actual button on the microphone to turn that on and off on the fly without connecting. A couple of other things about the app: we've got access to controlling the LED brightness on the actual microphone. I guess if you're somewhere that's really dark and you don't want to be distracting with a really bright light, then you can do that. And this is also where you turn on the auto power on and off feature for the microphone. By default, when you get the mic, it's turned off, which seems like an odd decision to me, but yes, you can turn that feature on quite easily within the app, and once you've turned it on, it remembers the setting even when it's not connected to the app. And then the other thing that you've got access to is an EQ setting for the mic, which means you can literally fine-tune your audio in the field, cut out some bass or mid and stuff like that, which is quite nice. I'm not sure it's a feature I'll particularly use, as I prefer to handle my sort of EQing in post-production and just get a kind of clean signal out of the microphone when I'm recording. But it's nice that they've included it, and it also has the ability that once you've created an EQ, you can save it for future use and export and share it with other people. So it looks like Joby are developing a range of kind of preset EQs, but at the moment in the app I don't appear to have access to any kind of preset EQs, but perhaps when they come along it might be nice for certain environments. It's quite nice to have the app. I don't know of any other microphones which offer this functionality. It's pretty good. And the other thing is, if I were to plug in a second mic to that extra input that I mentioned earlier, then you can see two separate audio channels within there, and you've got the choice of whether you want the microphone to actually mix the WAVO Pro and the external mic into one channel, or keep them as a left and right split channel, which for me personally, that's probably the option that I'd prefer to use most of the time. But yeah, nice feature. And if you are doing like an interview or something, it's pretty nice to be connected to the app and have a view of what both the microphones are doing. Or even, you know, if you haven't if you're not using an external microphone, then it's quite nice actually to just see the levels live like that. So yeah, I thought that's a pretty nice feature. I must say that when I first got the mic, I have had a few issues with connecting to the Bluetooth app. Nothing major, and the one main one I would say is if you have got the auto on feature set, then every time your camera goes to sleep, it will sleep the microphone as well, and you'll lose that Bluetooth connection. So if you are relying on the app during a recording session or something, doing some interviews, it might be worth turning that auto on off feature off, so that the mic stays on and therefore maintains the Bluetooth connectivity. But yeah, I'm interested to see where they go with this app and how it develops. It could be that, you know, there's quite a suite of kind of community created EQ options available in the future. So yeah, it's an interesting one for sure. I plug this in now. It's showing me both of them. That's not on. Turn that on. Turn that on. Check, check, 1 2 1 2. As I mentioned, it's got this external audio input. So what I've done now is I've still got the WAVO Pro connected to the top of my camera, but I've now also got this wireless lav system plugged in to the additional input. So what I've got is I've got the left channel of my audio is going to be picking up the WAVO Pro on the camera, and the right channel is now what you're listening to here, which is through this other new Joby microphone, the Joby WAVO Air. I'll be doing a full video on this, but yeah, it's pretty nice. If I was doing an interview, having the ability to plug in, still get the kind of room noise through the WAVO Pro, and then have, you know, 1 or 2 lav mics plugged into that external wireless input. It's not a wireless input, that's a lie. These are wireless, but the input is not. But that aside, you've got that external input. I've plugged in this WAVO Air wireless mic, so now I'm obviously quite a distance from the camera, and you're still going to be getting decent audio. And as I walk closer to you, I could now switch back over to the WAVO Pro, and as I said earlier, I've got the choice, so I'm separating these audio channels so that I can pick which one I want to use in post, but obviously I could be mixing them within the mic, so I'd get the fixed sound of both mics in a single track when I come to edit. So yeah, you've got some good options there, and obviously this is another mic we'll talk about in another video, but you could be plugging any external microphone, you could be plugging a hardwired lav in here, and yeah, I think it gives you lots of options and flexibility for your videos. So as for the form factor of the microphone, it's pretty nice. I'd say it's comparable to something like the Rode Videomic Pro or the Pro Plus. Slightly larger and taller on the camera than, say, the Rode NTG, the Videomic NTG. But if you're used to something like the Video Micro, then this is going to seem certainly like a much chunkier bit of kit. It does sit kind of quite tall. It's got this kind of bulbous section, which I think is where the battery and the active noise reduction stuff must live. It's sort of like this weird bullet shaped thing. So it does sit a little bit tall, and then you've also got a little bit of additional height from the Rycott mount, which is obviously there to reduce vibrations and rattles and such when you're walking around, as I am now. So yeah, I'm sort of looking forward to getting this footage home actually, to see how well this mic is handling my footsteps and me generally bobbing around and talking to you. So that'll be interesting. But yeah, overall the microphone seems really well constructed. It's solid, and it's actually got a little bit of weight to it. That's not to say it's heavy. It's not. It's absolutely fine. But yeah, it seems well made. It seems like a well constructed piece of kit, and it's going to handle the sort of stresses and strains of video production and content creation pretty well. So yeah, pretty pleased with the build quality. I mentioned earlier that it's got this tally light feature, which lets you see not just if the microphone is on, but also gives you an idea of the levels that you're getting from the microphone. Now, I'm obviously using this in a kind of vlogging scenario right now, and when I'm looking at my camera as I am now, I've got a green light directly in front of me on the front of the microphone. However, that green light only tells me that the microphone is on. Oh, groins. On the back of the microphone is where the more intelligent light lives, which gives me an idea of if I'm peaking and if my levels are okay. It would have been really cool if they could have included that light on the front facing section of the camera. So as I'm talking to camera now, I would be able to know if my levels are peaking. But as it happens, I only know that the mic is on at the moment. So something to be aware of, not a deal breaker, just something to know. So as you'd expect from an on-camera shotgun microphone, this mic has a cold shoe mount, nice metal construction cold shoe mount, and in the bottom of that mount is also a 3/8 of an inch thread, so that actually in a studio environment you could still take this mic, put it on a boom pole or a mic stand, get it overhead for a kind of more studio environment for that sort of thing. But yeah, obviously the primary use of this microphone is definitely intended to be on the camera as we're using it now, but it's nice that you've got that 3/8 thread so that you can essentially mount this in a manner of different configurations to suit your content creation needs. So far in this video, the active noise reduction feature has been turned on for the entire time that I've been talking to you. So in order to put that to the test, I figured, obviously I've been walking throughout, so that'll give you a good idea, but I figure I might sort of run and talk to you for a bit, which will probably be pretty cringy and embarrassing for me. And then what we'll do is we'll turn the active noise reduction off and we'll do the same little run and talk segment and see if there's any noticeable difference from that kind of boomy vibration noise that you get. And just to see if there's any noticeable difference. So let me sort of turn around here and we'll do a little sort of jog along here, which obviously I appreciate is putting this to the absolute extreme of what you would expect it to be capable of, but I just thought it'd be interesting to see if there is any really noticeable difference when that feature is turned on and off. So here we go. I'm running, and can you hear any booming or echoing? You know, gonna jump. Oh God! Right, so yeah, this is with the active noise reduction turned on. What do we reckon? Oh God, I'm out of breath. Right, so if I now turn this feature off, and we'll try a similar test without the active noise reduction. God, I'm still out of breath. Right, so I've just opened the app off camera, turned off the active noise reduction. So now this is what the mic sounds like with no noise reduction. God, I'm so unfit. So now we'll have a little jaunt along here and see what we get. So here we go. Just so you know, I'm holding my camera on a Joby GorillaPod at the moment. So that'll give you an idea. I'm just handheld, and yeah, this is no active noise reduction. Is there a noticeable difference, do you think? I obviously won't find out until we get back home. Oh God, running is the worst. Whew. So just thinking about where this mic kind of fits in with the competition really for a minute, and you know, I think it is competitively priced. It's currently about £257 in the UK. I think that puts it as a direct competitor to the Rode Videomic NTG or the Rode Videomic Pro Plus. Videomic Pro Plus I think is slightly cheaper, although I'll have to check those prices when I get home. However, whilst I think, you know, and I still need to get home and compare the audio, but to be honest, I did some initial tests before I came out and I was pretty impressed with the sound quality of the audio. Obviously I'll let you largely be the judge of that, but when I look at the Rode Videomic NTG and the Pro Plus, there isn't a mic that's a direct competitor to this microphone. So when it comes to buying a mic for your video production or content creation, whatever guise that may take for you personally, you know, there's a couple of things which are going to set this mic aside from the competitors, and one of those is definitely the addition of the additional external input. I can see some creators that are regularly doing interviews and run and gun stuff like that, where they want to use a lav mic and don't want to be faffing around taking one mic off the camera, putting another one on. I can see that feature being really good, and to my knowledge there isn't another option that actually has that feature. The other feature that sets this mic aside is of course the app, which I've mentioned now, and that is a trickier one for me, because whilst I can see that someone who isn't perhaps as much of a video nerd as I am would appreciate the ability to nip in, choose a preset EQ and tweak volumes from their phone, I have to say that so far the user experience of connecting to that app and, you know, needing to be using your phone, which quite often I'm using my phone for like my script notes or something like that, so needing to go in and out of that app is not ideal for me, but you know, it is a nice feature. So if you're someone that wants to tweak the EQ on the go and you want to use that external input for an additional microphone, then really this is a really great product for you. For me personally, I think the Rode Videomic NTG has one benefit over this microphone, and that is all of the buttons for the operation of the Rode Videomic NTG are on the actual body of that microphone. You don't need to connect to an app to change your settings, and I think that for me is where Joby have perhaps slipped up with this, and that is that as a content creator, you know, it's all about being fast-paced, creating on the go, getting content out, and for me that means streamlining the kit that I'm using to the absolute minimum. So having something like the Videomic NTG allows me to just stick that mic on the camera. I've got all the settings at my fingertips. I don't need to worry about that additional app. So yeah, there's definitely a way up there, and I'm still on the fence. As I say, I need to get home and listen to what we've recorded today to see, is that active noise reduction such an amazing feature that actually it's worth connecting to the app to turn that on and off. So yeah, we'll see. And even now I realise I've sat down to do this section and I'm right next to the sea with the tide lapping in, and we've got the active noise reduction still turned off from my previous test. So, you know, in itself I've forgotten to turn that on, and now I can't just quickly switch a button and turn it back on. I need to get the app out, reconnect to the Bluetooth, turn that feature back on. So yeah, pros and cons to all of these things, as there always is, but certainly this is a really nice form factor, solid contender. It's just going to depend whether the feature set is right for your workflow or not. So with that said, I think I'm going to head home, unload this footage, edit this video together, and then I'm going to come back to you in the studio with some final thoughts. Right, I'm back in the studio, and he's right, I have got some final thoughts, and I appreciate that this is already a whopping great long video, so I am going to keep this super brief. So, what do I think now I've heard the footage? Overall, I'm really impressed with the results that I got from this microphone. Obviously I was out, it's noisy, there's wind noise, there's the beach, footsteps, all of that. I think this mic handled it incredibly well. So what that leads me to is, can I recommend this microphone? And I think that's, you know, an easy recommendation. This is a great contender. I think Joby have done a fantastic job of entering into this audio space and creating a really great product. That said, a couple of bits. The A&R, the active noise reduction, when I was doing that running across the beach, I didn't particularly notice any great improvement. Perhaps I'm misinterpreting how that feature is supposed to work. But what was interesting is in the shot after that, there was definitely more wind noise in that shot when I'd forgotten to turn the active noise reduction back on than there was in the rest of the video. So I wonder if actually the A&R was doing a better job at reducing those sort of subtler background noises, like that little bit of wind that we had. And you know, I had the Dead Cat, the wind jammer on for the whole time throughout that video, so I don't know if that was maybe a feature. I think the bigger subject for me to summarize on is the app, and for me, I can't really see myself using that app particularly frequently. I think I'm going to, you know, you get the microphone home, you connect it to the app, I'm going to turn on auto power on and off, and you know, I'm probably going to just turn on the A&R feature and just leave it. And then after that, I can't really see myself using that app to adjust EQ and that sort of stuff. You know, it's nice to have, but I don't see that being something that I would use particularly frequently. You may obviously disagree. But the thing I really like about this microphone is the additional audio input. And if that's something that's important to you and you think that's useful within your workflow, then absolutely, it's a no-brainer. Go and get this microphone, because it's the only mic on the market that's going to do that. Obviously, there are other options. If you're working in multi-channel audio, you may even be looking at a different camera which can accept multiple inputs and that sort of stuff. But if you're just using, as I am, a simple mirrorless camera with the one audio input, then the fact you've got that additional input now as an option is a really great feature. So well done, Joby. I'm going to wrap it up here because, you know, this is now a very long video. I hope you found that interesting, informative, maybe even slightly entertaining. If you did, give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you aren't already. I talk regularly about gear, my general journey as I learn and continue to improve my filmmaking. So if that's something that you're into, then subscribe to the channel so you don't miss my future videos. And yeah, that's it. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.